Have you ever felt deeply called to change your life, but the moment you actually start changing it, you start feeling uncomfortable. You start feeling unsure, uncertain, emotional, restless. Now, a part of you wants to grow, but the other part of you wants to run back to what feels comfortable and familiar. And that contradiction confuses so many of us because we imagine reinvention, we imagine upscaling, upgrading, and we feel excited, we feel, empowered, we feel very clear, we feel liberating. But real reinvention begins with discomfort because at the same time, we always will feel uncomfortable coming out of this comfort zone of ours. Becoming somebody new means you have to leave behind parts of yourself that once felt safe. And today we are talking about why discomfort is not a sign that reinvention is wrong. Sometimes it's the very sign that transformation is finally happening for you. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Flight to Fulfillment podcast. I'm your host, Ratika Seth, your life enhancement coach and the founder of the Freedom Divas Hub. And today we are talking about something many women experience during periods of transformation. Why reinvention feels uncomfortable. Because so many people think growth should be instantly inspiring and motivating. But real invention? Well, it feels messy before it feels empowering. Why? Well, because your identity, your habits, your relationships, and your nervous system have all adapted to the old version of you. That's why. And when you begin to change, even positive change can feel emotionally unfamiliar. And that unfamiliarity feels very uncomfortable. But discomfort does not always mean that there's something wrong. Sometimes it means that you're stretching beyond your old survival patterns and you're stepping into newer version of yourself. So today, let's explore why this reinvention feels so difficult and why discomfort may actually be a part of your evolution. Firstly, your nervous system prefers familiarity over growth. And one of the biggest reasons reinvention feels uncomfortable is that your nervous system is wired for familiarity. Even if your old patterns were exhausting, even if your old identity was very limiting, it still feels known. And the brain often interprets the unknown as unsafe and the known as safe. So when you start to change, your nervous system reacts with fear, doubt, resistance, not because the growth is wrong, but because your nervous system is not familiar with this. Number two, you begin letting go of old identities. Now, reinvention requires releasing the old version of yourself. The people pleaser, the overachiever, the version of you that you built around survival or approval. And letting go of familiar identities can feel very emotional because even unhealthy version of ourselves once protected us. So even if you were a people pleaser, it worked for you once. Even if you were somebody who always needed approval, it worked for you once. And that's why this feels overwhelming now to let go. Number three, growth creates temporary emotional loneliness. As we evolve, we may no longer resonate with old environments, old conversations, old relationships. So many of us, we outgrow our friends, don't we? And that in-between phase is very lonely because you're not fully connected to your past. Okay? But you are not fully ready for your future either. And this emotional transition creates discomfort before clarity arrives. Number four, reinvention forces you to face yourself honestly. So growth requires honesty. Okay? About your patterns, about your fears, about self abandonment, about emotional habits. And self awareness can feel uncomfortable because, even before it becomes liberating or freeing. Because healing begins with you seeing very clearly what you've been avoiding, you coming face to face with what you've been avoiding. Number 5, discomfort is a sign of expansion. Remember that. This is one of the most important truths. Discomfort does not always mean that you're falling. It means your identity is expanding beyond old limits. It means your nervous system is adapting to a new level of self trust. It means you are becoming emotionally available for a different kind of life for yourself. And growth often feels uncomfortable, before it feels normal or natural. So, well, if today's episode resonated with you, like, comment, share it with somebody who needs to hear this on their growth journey. And don't forget to subscribe to the Flight to Fulfillment podcast on either Substack or YouTube or Spotify or Apple, wherever you're more comfortable, so that you don't miss out on a single dose of inspiration coming your way. Until next time, this is me, Ratika Seth, your life enhancement coach, signing off for now. But asking you to trust this discomfort. Honor the transition. Remember, growth rarely feels comfortable while it's happening. So, even if you're uncomfortable right now, remember you're evolving, you are growing. So, stay put on that path. See you the next time. Bye bye.